I'm here live with Stephen Lane, and if Stephen is here, that means it's time to talk about Star Wars. We have guns today. I love this little collection. 3 live fire guns, all from the original Star Wars trilogy. Really exciting, kind of very different, even based on different things you guys have recently sold and things that we typically see in auctions. I thought this was a really interesting collection to feature today. Yeah. So we'll kind of go from small to big. The first one up is this is a design that I've always loved from the original trilogy, the Rebel Blaster, and this is the unique thing about this in particular here is that it's a live fire one, which I think is the first one I've ever seen offered for sale. I mean, I don't know.
It's the first one at open market. We've handled a couple, or certainly, maybe one of these previously, but many,
live fire?
It was live fire. Okay. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think we estimate the BAPTI. So first of all, these are all now decommissioned, obviously. Yes. So they were live fire for production, but they were modified for blank firing in a lot of instances for these two weapons certainly. But we estimate that BAPTI made about 3 to 5 of these of live fire. That's what was known.
Rebel Blaster.
Rebel Blaster, okay. Live fire.
And would that go back to the first film as well, from the Blockade Runner sequence?
Potentially, but these numbers are slightly fuzzy because there's no real clear documentation about it. There's a degree of guesstimation, but also referring back to what we were aware of sort of 25 years ago, when we were first working with BAPTI as well. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a style that we're all very familiar with, but something that we haven't seen come to auction previously. We believe that this particular model was most likely made for Empire Strikes Back. It could have been A New Hope as well, but most likely for Empire Strikes Back. We actually managed to unearth a wonderful production still, very early production still from Return of the Jedi, which shows one of these exact live fire blasters in shot where they were basically prepping all the weapons up for Jedi, trying to understand exactly what it was.
So it's a behind-the-scenes shot that shows it on the weapons table.
You got it. Yeah, exactly. Great. And it's got a Sterling machine gun in there as well.
Yeah, so this is a Sterling machine gun. It's been cut down.
Correct.
Just the same base model as the Stormtrooper blaster. It's been cut down. There's a single point scope on it versus the tank scope that goes on. So there's a couple things different. And then this is just a custom machine piece, right?
Yeah, I mean that's fully aluminium custom machined component to it as well. And then it has a restrictor in the end, which would have restricted it for live fire. For blank fire use with a live fire gun
to cycle the action.
You've got it. Yeah, it gives a compression within the chamber that allows it to kick back and recycle.
Beautiful.
We believe these components certainly were mounted on it when it came out of BAPTI original. Difficult to know 100% if they were original to the production, but we believe so.
Okay.
The early production still from Jedi doesn't have those on. As I said, it's similar to this blaster. It's not this exact blaster.
Okay.
But it's interesting you have these wear marks here where there was the other dressing components mounted to it sometime as well.
So maybe this was a Stormtrooper blaster previously? Is that the sort of thinking, or?
Well, that's also comparable and relative there for what you see on the Rebel blasters as well. So that's why we're sort of leading to, look, we've got it documented for the beginning of Return of the Jedi, but it's without the dressing and without these elements here. So therefore it's got to have been dressed for an earlier film to show those wear marks, right? So that's the sort of summation that we've got from what we're looking at there. But yeah, I mean, incredibly rare to see certainly the live fire model like this come up.
It's awesome.
And it's got that weight to it, hasn't it? Yeah.
Chunky. I love a chunky prop, and clicky trigger, and the bolt kind of works in action, and the scope is real. I mean, that's a real scope, and you can see
single point.
You can see the you look in it and you can see the little dot at the end, and the little sort of sighting tube, I guess, that you see in there. That's on the Biker Scout blaster as well. It's used a couple times in the films.
Absolutely.
I think these are also on Chewbacca bowcaster.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
He loves scopes. Yeah. Chewbacca's very into scopes. He's got
double scopes.
many scopes. So the second piece is a Hero Stormtrooper blaster, and the estimate on this one is
£100,000 to £200,000.
Okay.
So about $130,000 starting
depending on the day. That number, as a person who deals in 2 currencies all the time, that number has been creeping up, not to my favor very recently. But this one is really unique, and there's been a bunch of Stormtrooper blasters around. This is objectively one of the most recognizable blasters from Star Wars. I mean, to me, I think I think of this, and I think of the Han Solo blaster. Just if you're talking, as you guys would say, a punter on the street. if you point out the silhouette of a Star Wars blaster, this one is so, because you see it so often, and our heroes use it in the first film. This is a great evergreen prop, and for a film that's very hard to collect on because of how in demand and expensive everything has gotten. Not that this one is cheap. This is an achievable prop for you to get as a collector, whereas other things, we'll come to that in a minute, tend to be more one of a kind and very hard and unachievable. What makes this one so interesting to me is that it's live fire, and when I think of the live fire props, at least Stormtrooper guns, I think of the first movie.
Sure, we had a lot of those back in the day.
Yeah.
So there was the big find of about 18 of them. They were all A New Hope. They were very distinctive because of the way they were constructed. So it wasn't the complete Sterling. They'd actually cut the rear end, the receiver off. So in fact, they were made from live fires, but they were never in any way practical for live fire at that time because they were shipped to Tunisia, of course, for the location
where
shooting.
The gun restrictions were crazy, and that's why
Yes.
they went as non-guns.
Non-guns, yeah. The whole back end was just a solid cast aluminium component essentially, but this is the whole gun. So this was made for live fire action purposes, absolutely.
Okay. And the other thing that makes this really unique is that it's a Jedi live fire, and most of the Jedi weapons that you see, I used to own one myself, are these MGC, the Model Gun Corporation. It's a Japanese kind of gun model.
Replica.
Really high end for reenactments and things like that. World War II, the Sterling was obviously the British submachine gun from World War II, so the base gun, but they made most of the props out of those, and they're gorgeous. It's metal, a bunch of chunky components, really cool because it has that heft to it without being a gun, so it's easy to move around. You don't have to worry about gun restrictions. But this one is really unique because it's Jedi and it's live fire, which to me was new news. I didn't know such a thing existed. And this one has a particularly interesting story in terms of what it was used for.
So our perception is that these would have only been used for the deleted Endor bunker scene that was shot in the UK, and I think it's on the Blu-ray extras, etc. So
you can actually see footage from it.
You can see footage, yes. So absolutely. So the footage is out there, and you can see that there are live fire guns being used in that sequence. And I think it's quite evident as well when you're looking at that you can see that the configuration, the build of it is different to the MGC version. So it isn't just like a special effects that we're seeing on an MGC gun, it is definitely a live fire gun. And one of the elements you can look at is actually the end section here. So this end section, I suppose this is sort of like the flash restrictor end, the barrel end of it all. This is very, very different on the MGC, and there are a few other elements, a few other tells that you can see as well. So that's very, very distinctive. What's great about this as well is all the dressing components here.
Yeah, these
fins, they're all original.
Metal and original.
Specific to the Jedi styling as well.
I had the same exact style on the MGC one that I owned, and they're awesome because it's metal. It's like it feels like a real blaster.
Yeah, absolutely. It came originally with this when it came out of Baptiste, so the scope rail and the scope on it as well. But we think most likely that was a later addition rather than something that was actually present at the time for filming.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because in my memory, the mount on the MGCs is a bit different. The scope configuration is a bit different, sort of where it sits on the gun. So this helps set it apart and makes it unique. The other thing I love about that Endor bunker sequences is it's got that bizarro Han Solo blaster with the extra long barrel, which is just such an oddity from the trilogy.
It's crazy.
And who thought that we weren't going to see that? Maybe that's why they cut the scene.
It could well be. Maybe not just with a blaster. You've got to think not. But I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Where was the continuity person on that day?
Yeah, it's just in the corner crying. As somebody who works the continuity people, that person had to walk off the set that day. But this is gorgeous. It's really great. And look, these things are kind of evergreen. There's been a bunch of them have gone through, not live fire, of course, the sort of similar, the MGC, and a couple of the Bapti ones, and the prices just keep going up and up and up. So if you want one,
high demand.
This is a great opportunity to get it. It's unlikely you're going to get it much cheaper in the future, but just really cool. And then we saved the best for last, the sort of piece de resistance, which I love. I mean, who doesn't love Boba Fett? This thing is incredible. Somebody sent me a photo of this. I couldn't believe that this was turned up. I didn't even know that I thought this was one of those sort of lost props things until it came around. You guys obviously got it in. Were you, Stephen, aware that this existed out there in private hands before this?
Well, I was aware that Bapty at some point had sold one of these. It's a Webley Mark I flare gun, isn't it?
Okay.
So that's the.
And
it's
that's
actually
like
a World War
One era,
yeah, so it's
right,
a 1917 weapon.
Yeah.
This is. That's the
Like Lawrence of Arabia era.
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely. Yeah, going all the way back. And I was aware that Bapty at some point, going back in the early 2000s, had sold one of these that was purporting to be Boba Fett's rifle, but we hadn't seen it in person. So I hadn't seen it, we hadn't inspected it, and it went away to a private collection. And then it came into us, it changed hands and came into us. And initially we were quite sceptical about it because it is, just your bog standard flare gun, this element of it here that we're looking at. But as we dived into it and as we got to look at it, we did the Propstore thing, frame by frame through the 4K and all the behind the scenes reference that we have, and we started to screen match it. And so we managed to screen match. This was one of the first tells here, and I don't know whether I can pick this up just off the stand here and just show this to camera a little bit. But this great, it's got really got some weight to this. But this chip that we have here, essentially every time you see Boba Fett, with this rifle, that chip is there.
That's great.
In every shot that you see it.
Do you think that was just happened to be the one that they used?
I have no idea how that goes on. There we go.
No, I think this actually goes inside the.
Oh, there we go.
Here.
Thank you. You're paying attention. Good man.
That's why they have me here. Do you think this is production dressing, or do you think that's the one that they happened to take off the shelf?
I think that's one they happened to take off the shelf.
You would imagine a bounty hunter, the story of his life, and not everything in his collection is in like new showroom condition, given the hard jobs that he's been on. That could be a bit of
that's true.
Theory,
Absolutely.
A bit of character put into the piece.
Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to know, but I think it's likely that's just the one that was available at the time.
Yeah.
So we matched it on that. We then also matched it to the wood grain as well. Mm-hmm. So in other shots, there's some wood grain on the stock that we can match up. Of course, all these photos will be on the propstore.com website when the catalogue is live. So you'll be able to view all of those in close up. We've done a great case study of this as well in the catalogue. So please check that out when you get a chance to.
And a detail that I love about this is there's Greeblies dressed onto it to make it not a World War I flare gun, but a bounty hunter rifle. And this piece is a recent subject of recent history for Propstore. It's a Darth Vader lightsaber that's been turned around and jammed up the barrel to make it look like a Star Wars piece.
So this is the
MPP.
The MPP. Right? Yeah, absolutely. So isn't it fascinating to see that they were working with these boxes of components and Greeblies, and we've seen that on a lot of the kit bashing that's done on the model miniatures, where you see repeats of tank components and things like that. And this is exactly the same again here as well. So when this came into us, of course, this was not dressed. So everything all of the dressing, all of the components that you can see on here are faithful recreations of, or even the right components, the actual source, original components that were used on the weapon during that period as well. So again, we've sort of broken it down within the catalogue so you can see the before and after and ghosted the images in of the components that have been added as well. But look, this is essentially probably the only significant Boba Fett prop ever to come to market, and we're highly confident that this is the only gun, the only blaster that he used during Empire Strikes Back. Every shot you see in Empire Strikes Back, it either has this dink, or you can see that it's the live fire, etc. Again, fully decommissioned now and deactivated.
It would make sense. How many days did Jeremy Bulloch work on the film, right? It's like a week or two.
Yes.
And he's not in these high action scenes. The thing never fires, right? There's a lot of reasons to believe that they would just. And this was probably a hard flare gun to source, I entirely believe that there was one of those for that film.
So this is it. Every
incredible.
shot you see in Empire Strikes Back, that silhouette of Fett with a blaster, this is it.
It's incredible.
And then to elevate it one step further, the other thing that we've managed to do is again, looking at some of the behind-the-scenes stills, the library that we have, the reference library that we have for Jedi. The serial number on this matches the serial number on the cast version that's used in Jedi.
Oh, fantastic.
So we're pretty confident again that it was only a resin cast that was used in Jedi. We don't believe that this was used in Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Obviously.
But Jedi, the gun is different. So the thinking is that they cast the base of this and then kind of kitted it out, right? They greed
Exactly.
it.
They greed it up. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. And so you've got the sort of the legacy of this carrying forward into Jedi as well, which is just exceptional. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean it's a phenomenal piece. I think that probably Boba Fett is one of the most beloved characters, or certainly has been over the years. He's gone on now.
The mysterious masked anti-hero.
Yeah, and gone on to his own series, own films, and sort of the legend continues. So I think this is an exceptionally exciting piece of Star Wars movie history, to be frank. I think it's one of the most exciting outside of sort of like the main characters, I suppose. This is probably one of the most exciting weapons that could turn up, isn't it? I mean, what would be next? Once you've got the background characters, you sort of got this sort of I don't know, secondary character. Really,
yeah. The bowcaster came through you guys, and we're at that level of these not Luke or Han, but or Vader, but like onto the next and. Star Wars is just rich with these characters. I mean, I can't. I'm hard pressed to think of somebody else that. I mean, he's an island unto himself. I mean, there are people that are out there. There's Star Wars collectors that only collect Boba Fett.
Only Boba Fett. Yeah, I mean, I have that absolute fascination with that character, and so I think this is going to be really exciting for that community to see as well, fantastic. For the very first time.
Yes, and you can get it for the low price, Stephen, of
the low knockdown discount price of estimate $350,000 to £700,000. So about $500,000, I suppose, as the starting. But look, if you compare it to something like the Vader saber, which sold for $3.6 million, if you compare it to an X-wing
the bowcaster. I think the bowcaster is actually a great example because it's a similar. Chewbacca is a beloved character, not one of the main characters. He's a villain versus a hero versus a villain. But I think that the bowcaster did very, very well.
Yeah, I think that landed at around $750,000, something like that.
Same sort of general neighborhood.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of interest in it. We're certainly excited to bring it to market, and it's so much fun handling it.
Yeah, you can bid on it live along with these beautiful other pieces at BAFTA in London, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. The live day is the first day is December 5th. You come there live. Stephen will be there. I'll be there. I'll be drinking free drinks and
They're
sweating.
Not free, 1p.
Sweating. That's fair.
Penny a drink.
That's fair. And sweating about what I'm going to be bidding on. But please come down, say hi. It's going to be a fantastic event.